Hello and welcome to Give It a Rest, the podcast where we talk about common practices, ideas, and beliefs that need to be put to rest for the greater good. My name is Joy. I'm your host. This is episode 11. I have my notes here. I'm going to be referencing them, so the people listening, y'all don't care. But if you're watching this on YouTube, on Spotify, you'll notice my eyes. Anyway, exhaustion. I have been so tired, y'all. Today I had the best nap. And I was like, what are we going to talk about on the podcast this week? And I was like, I have a great idea. It's going to be about being tired as shit. So here we are. Exhaustion, we are going to start with a definition. I'm up and ready to go now because I had a fantastic nap earlier. But other than that, okay, let's get right on into it. So let's define exhaustion. Exhaustion, this is from the Oxford Dictionary. They said it is a state of extreme physical or mental fatigue. And then the second definition is the action or state of using something up or being used up completely. Oof, that's a good one. And it kind of addresses the different areas of exhaustion. So one, you're just tired. You feel like you're being dragged through the mud and it's hard to catch up on the sleep or whatnot. But the other part is that it is exhausting physically and mentally. And then again, you feel like you're being used up. That is our definition. And now we can move on. Now we're going to do a quote. Y'all, I have the different segments, but I like to do them in different orders depending on what feels good and what the vibes are giving. So here we go. Quote time. There is virtue in work and there is virtue in rest. Use both and overlook neither. That is by Alan Cohen. I don't know who Alan Cohen is, but I like that. I like what he said. I feel like whenever I talk about naps and I ask people, oh, did you have a nap today? Do you nap? Is that a thing that you do? Some people will tell me no. They're like, I feel bad. Whenever I sit on my couch, I feel bad. Like I don't deserve it. And I understand, but it also blows my mind because I love a good nap. I don't really like sleeping in, but I do love a good midday moment of rest. And if you can work that into your schedule, if you can work that into your daily activities, I think your body's going to thank you for it. And feeling like we have to earn rest or we have to earn a nap, I think that's ridiculous. Does society promote overworking and exhaustion? Absolutely. But that is why we're here on Give It a Rest, the podcast where we talk about common practices, ideas, and beliefs that need to be put to rest, right? So, again, it's okay to rest. It's okay to not push yourself to the brink. I don't think that there is any honor in that. There's just not. It's okay to give yourself a break. It's okay to give yourself a rest because if you don't feel good while you're accomplishing all these things, then what is the point? Like I have all these great trophies, but I feel like shit and I look like shit. So let's look at some examples of exhaustion and where it shows up in our lives, what that can feel like, what that can look like. So one, mental. Have y'all ever just worked your brain so hard? I remember this very specifically all throughout school, high school, middle school, college, grad school, all the schools. I would just be like, okay, I'm on it. I'm just studying. I'm memorizing things for my test. And then I get to the test and all of a sudden I can't remember anything. Or my mind is so scattered while I'm studying that I'm actually not retaining any information at all. So that is just one aspect of exhaustion. Physical, y'all have been tired before. I know y'all have been tired and it just doesn't feel good. I feel like whenever I get really tired, I know at the end of the day, my eyes start to drop, my eyes start to burn. They will literally look red. They'll turn red. I will look like I've been doing all the drugs, all the drinking. And it's crazy because actually my body's just like, hey girl, go sit down somewhere. Actually, you know what? Go lay down somewhere. Next, work. Again, same thing with school and everything else. When you are not well rested, when you're exhausted, your attitude sucks. Your work is probably not that great either, whatever you may be doing. And in all career fields, I feel like you need to be doing your best because if everybody doesn't do their job correctly, then nobody's going to have a good time. school, interpersonal relationships as well. If you're exhausted in your interpersonal relationship, like friends, family, significant others, chances are somebody's going to pick up on it. Either that significant other, you're going to start fights, y'all aren't going to be getting along well, or they're going to be like, are you good? So just to make sure that we can show up the best we can for the people in our lives, I think it's super important to make sure we are well rested and we are taking care of ourselves. Okay, it is story time now. So whenever it's the summer, I like to travel. Whenever it's not the summer, I also like to travel, but summer very specifically, it is about going. And I'll book a trip or a conference that involves a trip, or I'll go see a friend and that also involves a trip, and then I'm going. And I don't actually have time to take the rest that I need, because I feel like I need a little bit more rest than the average person. I require like 8 to 10 hours of sleep a day. And that can mean sleeping at night and then maybe a little power nap during the day too. That's fine for me as long as I get it. But when I don't get it, I'm okay for a while and then it all catches up. So last weekend I was in New Orleans for a dental conference. It was absolutely incredible. I loved all the meeting of people I did, and I got to speak as well. And it was just the best time ever. I went out at night. Y'all went on Bourbon Street, which is kind of unbelievable for me because the girls know I go to bed. But I was going. I get back home. I'm still like trying to hang out with my family and my friends. I'm still going to work, doing all the things, staying up late. And it's like my body never had a chance to recover. And in that, I thought I was functioning pretty well. I was like, I'm okay. This is fine. And then I started getting cystic acne. And I was also really hungry, which isn't really a thing. Like I have a pretty mild appetite and my skin is pretty okay for the most part. And all these things kept happening. And I'm like, obviously it's because I'm very tired. And not until today was the first time I had a chance to sit myself down for like a 1.5, 2 hour nap. And even in that, I was waking up out of it like, ooh, we could go another hour. I could definitely do that. And it's all because my body was like, girl, sit down, please. We need some rest. We need to regroup, because this go, like that's not who you are. And that's okay. I feel like a lot of people, they have a hard time coming to terms with that. Their bodies will be telling them one thing, but their minds are like, keep it going. But it's okay. Y'all, it really is okay to just say enough. And it's okay to pass up on opportunities, on hangouts, on whatever it is, so that you can take care of you. I just don't like when I show up somewhere and I'm not my best self for the situation, for the event, because I'm not well rested and I'm not well taken care of. Another thing, which is a really like long-term not issue, but it was a long-term thing where when I was in dental school, and especially in undergrad too, I was on all of the time. So when I would go home for breaks like Christmas break or spring break, something of that nature, I slept so much. My parents would be concerned. They're like, are you okay, Joy? Like, you sleep all the time. And it was because all throughout that time, I was stressed. I was not sleeping well, not eating well either, and just up all the time, getting up early, going to bed late, getting up early again, doing more stressful things, dealing with school, dealing with people. And I never really had a chance to catch up. So whenever I had a break, whenever I was actually far away from school and all of those stressors, I was out, okay? I was in the bed for a long time, and that's just how my body decided to recover. So now I don't like to have to do that. I would rather just, be moderate in pushing myself and just making sure that I'm giving myself time to recover, recuperate, and being able to be my best self. There's a book, it's called The Body Keeps the Score, and it's about trauma and how the body stores that and all that. But I also think it's a good it's a good read to understand that no, your body is paying attention to the way you're training it. Your body is absolutely paying attention, and if you pay attention to your body will reward you back. So that's a great book. I don't know the author, but I'll put it in the link in the description. Okay, so how do we give exhaustion a rest? I'm glad you asked. I have a few points here, and let's go over them together so that we can figure out a little something for ourselves. Number 1, get your priorities straight. Sometimes we think things are important, but they're actually not very important. Or sometimes we know that they're not important, but we're doing them anyway, and they are taking away from our rest time, our time to sleep at night, or just time to be preparing ourselves for a more stressful part of the day. So for me, I did this last night. I stayed up late watching Insecure. I've seen Insecure 2 times already. That was the 3rd time. And I stayed up an extra hour, 2, maybe it was an extra 3 hours. It was a lot of time. It was crazy. But yeah, I stayed up late, and then I had to get up in the morning, and I was miserably tired, and that was all of my fault. That was all my fault, and it was super unnecessary. So is feeling good tomorrow more important than watching Insecure for the 3rd time? It probably is. So I should probably just turn that off, go get in the bed. The next step would be to practice your no's. It's okay to tell yourself no, and it's okay to tell other people no. Like, oh, you're not coming out with us? You don't want to go to this place? The answer is no, I don't want to go. And I will sometimes get pushback like, oh, why don't you want to go? We don't have to go that long. We don't have to. I don't want to go at all because this is not somewhere I want to be, and this is not somewhere that is going to make me money. We can hang out somewhere else. You can come over here. We can chill out here and go from there. But I don't need to be in a club, in a crowded club with people I don't know, with loud music. Like, this is not my vibe, and I don't want to be there. So, no. And some people will be combative with it, and that's okay because still the answer is still no. You really have to practice it, and it's not going to be easy at first, or maybe it is. But it's an important skill to have, be able to say no and mean it. The 3rd step, go to bed on time. I already mentioned this, but go to bed on time, whatever that means for you. If you have to get like 8 to 10 hours of sleep at night to feel good, then go to bed at 10 or whenever that is for you. I always put it in my phone because, Apple has the whole bedtime health thing. It calculates everything for you, so you don't have to pull out your fingers and count like that. You don't have to do it. Go to bed on time. And another step would be to know when you're reaching your limit. Sometimes, so I'm a hot girl out in these streets, right? I like to go on dates sometimes, and sometimes the guys will be like, oh, let's meet at 9. 9 is really late for me. So if we go out at 9, you probably have a solid 45 minutes of my attention and my presence. And then I'm going to start yawning because my body does that. And it's time to go home and go to bed. There's no, oh, come back with me, or can I come over? No, you cannot, because it's already too late and I'm at my limit. Goodbye. The last step here is to give yourself permission to rest. This is the one that's going to get a lot of y'all because, again, some people feel like they don't deserve rest. They haven't earned it, whatever that means. But y'all, give yourself permission. You need to be able to function at a high level, or maybe not even a high level, but just a baseline, a decent baseline. And that's not going to be possible if you don't give yourself permission to take that time to chill out, turn off your brain, turn off your phone. I have afternoon relaxation time. That is my time for me. I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to show up anywhere. I don't have to do anything. My dog gets let out before and she gets let out after, but I don't owe anybody in this world a single thing. It's my time. So give yourself permission for a time like that. Maybe it's 45 minutes. Maybe it's 2 entire hours. I don't know what that looks like for you. I know that for me, it's a few hours in the afternoon that belong to me and me alone. That is all for the steps on how we're going to give exhaustion a rest. And now we're going to move on to our affirmations. If you're new here, welcome. Affirmation time is where I say an affirmation, I give you time, you say it back to me. You have to say it out loud. It's not optional. I don't care where you are. I don't care who's around. Have them join in on your affirmations. But here we go. I have 3 of them today, and affirmations work because you say them out loud and your body hears you say them, your body hears you feeling them, and then eventually, sooner or later, you're going to start to believe it, okay? Let's go. 1, I give myself permission to do nothing. 2, today's rest is tomorrow's success. 3, I'm surrounded by peace and tranquility. Okay. Did you say them out loud? Y'all did? Okay, good. If not, go ahead, press that rewind button, go back about 45 seconds so that we can redo them, say them back, and that's it. So now we are to the end of the podcast. This is where I tell y'all to rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcast, on Spotify. On Spotify, it's super quick. All you have to do is give me 5 stars and that's it. If you're not going to give me 5 stars, do not leave a review. Okay, wait till another episode, listen to another episode that you feel is 5 stars, and then run it up. And I love to shout out my friends and family who leave reviews, so I would love to mention y'all on the next podcast. Share with your friends, family, anybody who needs to give themselves a rest, or go down the episode list and send them a specific one that applies to them. Be passive-aggressive about it, or maybe actively aggressive about it. Anyway, this has been very fun. I'm so happy to be here for y'all and with y'all. And until next week, rest up.